Namaste, Jai Bharat. One may wonder that if at all there is a God, as people often think as a creator God. Normally, people say that there's a creator God who is responsible for everything. If at all there is someone or something like that, then that creator God is supposed to have claimed that his best creation is human. Don't you think that this statement can be questioned so badly? That his best creation is human. Look at the world. You look at the history of the world. When did human lived in a humane situation? Hardly you find any point in history where human beings behaved like human beings. There's an archetype concept of human being in most people's mind. But then you don't often find people behaving like that. Look at the situation as of now, today. How many places we have conflict in this world, and what are the things which the bigger nations do? Every so-called rich and so-called powerful nation wants to continue maintaining its power and, borrowing the expression from Gramsci, their hegemony. Look at the things that's happening. Nothing really makes sense. You see, there is a Ukraine and Russian war going on. Why do they fight? Ukraine became an instrument in the hands of some people. They wanted to test the Russians, most likely. That's what I feel like. Ukrainians become victims and scapegoats in the hands of them. And who suffers in turn? The Ukrainian people and also the Russians who fight. They suffer. Those who program and plan these things don't have any problem. They don't suffer. It's something like the terrorists. The leaders of the terrorists are comfortable. They live in utmost luxury. And they lead such luxurious and enviably luxurious life with authority. Authority in the sense they can speak anything, they can do anything, they can get everything done. Well, this is what many human beings aspire. This situation is what many human beings want to be in. So there is this war going on between Russia and Ukraine, and for whose sake, no one is very clear. Then you have last October, suddenly the Hamas started attacking Israeli people. All out of the blue, they started attacking, which was going on. Now, what happened to those who very boldly, supposed to be very boldly, went into someone's place and started indiscriminately killing people? They have almost become extinct. One thing good Israel did is that they targeted the leaders. Because normally these leaders, they live a very comfortable, cozy life. They don't sweat. They don't sweat in their lives. They make others die for them, as though they are specially created people. These people are demigods. These people are demigods. And they have nothing to lose, and they make others jump. And they live in most luxurious situations. But the Israel, I think they're the only sensible people in the entire world. The Jews seems to be the only sensible people in the entire globe. They have targeted the heads, leaders. They deserved it because they create such ideas and put it in the mind of people, and then get them brainwashed and then send them as suicide bombers or suicide soldiers. They have been instructed and they have been programmed to believe in that. That is their destiny. Because with death only the next birth begins, next life begins. All these people believe that there are there's life after death. All these people believe that there is a life after death, and the life after death is going to be wonderful. These poor souls are convinced in such kind of idiosyncrasy, and they're going to die because they lose nothing. Death is what they want, because immediately after death you are in a they're in a glorified situation. Are people still foolish enough to take such things? God alone knows. God alone knows. I'm not talking about a creator God. Absolutely, I don't accept such concept of a creator God who sat up one early morning and started making things. No, that's very crude theological speculation. Things should have been a little more deeper. Things should have been a little more deeper and a little more serious. Anyway, that depends on the fancy of people. Look at the Hamas. They simply for nothing thought they can do so many things. We call them as Lahoris. They say so many things where they can't do things. They have no capacity. They're 10cc engines and wanted to speak like 1000cc, no, 10,000cc engines or something like that. So look at that. They started the whole thing, and now they're almost going extinct. They lost their leaders. That's a good thing. He said they lost their leaders, and the recent one died in dust. He couldn't escape from. Normally they go to safer places, safer zones, and safer countries where they're not likely to be attacked, and then there they live in all kinds of luxury. But this gentleman could not escape. He was stuck there. He just couldn't move out. So he just got trapped into shelling or bombing, whatever, and died in dust. Then the Hezbollah. Hezbollah, of course, is a kind of proxy army. You know the stories. Proxy army supplied money, and they have got treasures and all hidden. These people foolishly thought that living in tunnels would save them. They followed which rat? No one knows. Then they started sending projectiles, things to Israel, and now they are getting their share. Then, of course, the Houthis and the Yemen. Yemen is the poorest country among the Middle East nations, and they have these rebels. There are people, they keep receiving funds, arms, ammunition, and other things. These people who give them all those things should be taken to task. Those who supply them with all these kinds of facilities should be taken to task. That's the only way. Because there are people who wanted to live a life after death. What to do? That's what they have been programmed for. They just think that's true. So long as one thinks that's true, no one can help him. Now the recently this Turkey, the Kurds, another group, they went about spreading terrorism. So there are so-called world wars. Basically, they are European wars, and many times Europeans think that they are the world. So they started calling them as World War I, World War II, and the like. If you start thinking that you are the world, if you start thinking that you are everything, then that's a very pathetic situation. What to do? So this is a situation in the world, and definitely one of the worst creation is the so-called best creation, if there is a question of creation, creator, etc. The supposed God said this is his best creation. The theology goes to the extent of saying that God created man in his own image, whatever may be. But that's an absolutely funny creation. But there are exceptions also. There are indeed exceptions also. I don't know, you mean the general majority, or these very rare exceptions by saying human? It's up to you to say who is human, who is not human. Anyway, it's a funny world, and we are living in such a kind of situations. And yes, this is never good that you will have no attachment to such a world. This is no problem in dying. Death comes, you can take the death with a smile. You have no problem. There's nothing attaching you. Such miserable situations, better to say bye and get lost. We may meet again with something else till then. Namaste. Jai Bharat and Jai Shri Ram.